Hey guys, it's Esme and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is part of my brand new Wedding Wednesday series. Oh my gosh. You guys, I have had the idea to do my Wedding Wednesday series for so long. I literally got this idea 3 days after our wedding, which it's crazy that it's about to be a year. But I remember sitting on our honeymoon just thinking about how this year had just come and gone already, like all the wedding planning, everything that's happened that year, and finally we're getting to relax as husband and wife on this gorgeous beach. And I was thinking there was so much that I learned on the way, and boy do I have some stories. So I decided I was gonna do a Wedding Wednesday series, and here it is finally. So yes, this series is gonna be all about tips and tricks to planning your perfect wedding day, a lot of budgeting tips, and a lot of really fun stories, because girl, I got a lot. So stories, DIYs, tips and tricks in making your perfect wedding day. So if you want to learn more, then let's get started. Alright, so you're engaged now, congratulations. So what's the first step you take now towards planning your dream wedding day? Well, the first thing that Frankie and I actually did right after we got engaged is, of course, we had an engagement party. And to me, that was something I really wanted to do, because I feel like today's day and age now, you just see people, post it up on social media, like, we're engaged now. And you just can't really call like every single family member first. It just takes way too long. And I figured a really nice formal way to kind of tell everybody we were engaged was to have a really fun engagement party. And we basically threw it together within like a week after we got engaged. It was a fall themed. And if you guys want to know more about our engagement party, go ahead and comment down below letting me know. But yes, after all that, I definitely think the first thing you need to do is have a Pinterest folder. Come on now, who does not have their Pinterest for every event in their life that they want to do? Because I definitely have a Pinterest board for everything in my life that I want to do. So I remember I actually started pinning things way before we were even engaged. Like, Frankie and I had started seriously talking about getting married a year before he actually proposed, because, we obviously talked about it, made sure it was where we both wanted to go in life. And that's when I kind of started letting my mind on Pinterest go crazy. I've been the person that really did always had like the vision for their wedding. I remember being a really young girl and I did not think of the fairy tale wedding. To me, like, my dream wedding was like your telenovela, like Mexican soap opera, outdoor, beautiful ranch wedding. Like, that's what I always grew up thinking that I was gonna have. Because if you're Hispanic and you watch telenovelas, or if you just watch, Mexican soap operas in general, then you know that every soap opera ends with a huge wedding, like a huge outdoor wedding in one of their gorgeous ranches that they have. And to me, that was like, that is what I want. Like, I want a gorgeous outdoor wedding. So yes, I started, of course, filling up my Pinterest board. Your wild dreams, go wild, start pinning like crazy, because your next step is probably going to bring you a lot more down to earth. All right, so after that, I actually really suggest you do this first. Is talk budget, talk date, talk guest count with your fiance and your family. This is so important, because weddings can just add up so fast, and you also don't want to be looking at venues that are going to be way out of your budget for the amount of guest count. Like us, we knew we were going to, like, we were trying to have around 150 people, and when we told both of our parents, they were like, that's insane. No, it's gonna be like closer to 200. So right away we knew, like, okay, so now we have to plan for close to a 200 people wedding. So you have to just really budget for that from the get-go. Like, you don't want to be wasting your time, like I said, looking at venues that are going to be way too expensive. So when you have your budget, you have your guest count, then you kind of know like what you can spend per guest basically. And of course the date, because you need to know when you're going to be doing the thing, right? So for us, I love fall. So I knew I wanted to have a fall wedding. Also, I knew I wanted to do an outdoor wedding. And the only time that is nice to be outside where we live is the fall. So it worked out great. So hopefully these videos help any future fall brides. But yeah, so we talked our budget first, and then talked to our families about guest counts. And we both come from two really big Mexican families, so we knew like they were going to be very involved. We talked to them, and then they shut down our 150 number down very fast. So we had to go back to the budget and just really analyze things. And then from there, we knew it was going to be a fall wedding. It was a fall engagement, and we knew we were only going to want to be planning a wedding for 1 year. We didn't want to drag it on 2 years, or longer. So we got our budget, we had our guest count, our approximate guest count, and of course we had our date. Next thing is that I really recommend that you be really organized from the very beginning. Oh my goodness, I cannot stress this enough. Like, starting organized from day one before you even go look at your vendors will just make your life so much easier. I so kindly was gifted this amazing wedding planner book. I love it so much. I still love it, and I loved it all throughout the wedding planning process. It just makes things so much easier. This particular one was gifted to me, and it's actually from Things Remembered, and it's even engraved on the inside. It's so freaking cute. It says, "It belongs to the future Mrs. Esmeralda Garcia," which was the first time that I actually saw my name with my new last name together, and that was like, really emotional. But yes, it's pink, it's beautiful. It's not really something I feel like you could technically buy yourself, because this one is a little bit pricier one. But if you have a friend that's getting married or having a wedding soon, then you should definitely think about getting them something like this. And of course, you can always make your own. Just get a binder, get some dividers, and start dividing it. Wedding planning book is so important. It just really helps keep everything organized, keep every number, every paper, because you're going to be looking at so many different vendors and people and all this stuff, and you really want to have somewhere where you can consolidate everything, keep it all together. So wedding binder is a big plus. Also with that, I did not do this, and I really wish I would have. I just didn't think about it, and it was until after my wedding that one of my friends that had also gotten married told me like that she did this, and I was like, that is a brilliant thing to do. So have a wedding email. An email where all your vendors can email you, everybody can be communicating, everything, all your wedding emails will be in one place, all your receipts that vendors can send you back. I really wish I would have done that. I wish somebody would have told me that. So I'm telling you guys now, make a wedding email. It will be the best thing that you do. So to stay organized, have a wedding binder and have a wedding email. Make sure everything's together. You don't want to get crazy in a bunch, and it's really going to help you, especially once you get closer to the days leading up to your wedding. So the next thing is bridesmaids. Start thinking about your bridesmaid group. Now, I am gonna have a whole video dedicated to bridesmaids later on in the series, so I just kind of wanted to sprinkle it in here a little bit. And the reason that I'm saying to start thinking about it is because as you start getting further into your wedding process, you kind of want to know, like early in the beginning, like who your girls are, who are the people that you're going to be going to every day, who are you going to be calling right when you see a vendor, right when you get a quote, like right when you meet with somebody, because it's just going to help give you, I guess, a peace of mind in a way. Like knowing who's going to be there for you already, who you can message, is really going to help kind of ease off some of the load. Yes, you can talk to your husband about it, your wife, and tell your partner like what these vendors said or what this is, and ideas and things like that. But it's just always really nice to have a listening ear. And honestly, during the wedding process, sometimes you're not even asking for advice. You just want to like tell somebody everything that's happening that's not your partner that you're about to get married to. So yes, start thinking about that. And like I said, I am gonna have a whole different video all about bridesmaids later on in the series, from how to ask them to how to make sure they're taken care of and all that stuff. So keep out your lookout for that. Of course, your next thing you should be doing after you get engaged is start looking at venues. So like I told you guys already, I already knew what I was going to be wanting for my venue. I knew I wanted it to be outdoors because telenovela weddings are outdoors, duh. And, you know, I knew I wanted to do rustic and glam and things like that. So my options definitely narrowed. Oh, and of course I also already knew my budget. So yeah, I had a very small pool of options. Now we did end up going with this gorgeous outdoor ranch, which actually I don't think is hosting weddings anymore, which is really sad because I feel like my wedding was one of the last ones that they were to do, because they were like, I think in a residential area, and just neighbors didn't really like having the music and the cars and the party there all the time. Regardless, I'm so thankful we were able to have our wedding there, because that literally was my dream venue, and I'm so happy we were able to do it. But when we were looking at venues, I remember calling them and asking them like, you know, about a ballpark of what weddings there would cost. And from there, it kind of went off my list. So when I called this venue, they gave me the estimated price. And then they told me that every single vendor was separate. So with the ranch, there was no package. Like, it was, you paid X amount for just the ranch. Chairs, tables, decor, lighting, dance floor, everything was going to be a separate vendor. And they gave me an estimated number of what other brides have kind of paid for. And I remember thinking like, okay, that's kind of like in the budget. Like, we can make that work. So let's go tour it. So of course we toured our perfect venue, and we got so lucky, you guys. I remember on the phone, I had asked, because I remember step like 2 was figure out your dates. I had asked them if they had openings for fall of the next year, which was fall of 2018. And on the phone, because obviously I didn't want to waste my time if they weren't going to have anything available, she told me they had like 3 dates left. So I go. By the time that I go there, they only had 1 day left, you guys. 1 day out of the entire calendar for 20, and we toured it about, I think about a month after our engagement. So it was around December. It was like the last week of November. Like, I think it was right after or right before Thanksgiving, actually. So yeah, we toured it, and she goes, oh yeah, all those other dates have been booked. There's only 1 day left in the whole calendar year of 2018 to have a wedding, and that is on a Friday, and that is November 2nd. So of course we're like, November 2nd, it's fall. We looked up the weather forecast for that day on like those websites that, you know, give you like really extended approximate weather, and the weather was due to be really nice. So of course we booked it. So yes, once you get your vendors, or once you get your venue, I feel like from that point on, like, it's really now about figuring out what your venue is going to offer you and what you need to get on your own. So our venue, like you said, everything was separate. So we had to have a vendor for everything. So what we did is right away, we booked all the vendors, gave everybody deposits, and basically added up all the numbers and divided on how we were getting paid off that year. I don't really encourage that you get into crazy debt over your wedding. Like, this should be a really fun, exciting day that, you know, is starting your life. And you don't want to start your life together as having thousands and thousands of dollars in debt. So like, after we found our venues and we had all of our, you know, obviously we added everything up and made sure we were all going to be within our numbers. That's when we gave everybody the deposit to book, to make sure they were locked in, and then divided all of our vendors off monthly until we knew they had to be paid off. And I really, really suggest that's the best strategy to do. Obviously, some people might take longer to pay than others. Like if you have your, your dream venue, all your vendors, and you're like, okay, this is going to take me longer than a year, then let it be longer than a year. I really, really feel like you shouldn't go into debt. You shouldn't do something you can't afford. Now, we were also really lucky that, into our wedding, we started getting a little bit extra income, and we were like, okay, we can actually kind of upgrade some things. And I really, really feel like that was probably the best thing we ever did, was just, go simple, start simple. Like, this is how it's going to be. And then if we have extra money in the end, we'll upgrade and do more things. That's basically it, you guys. Those are some of the first things that I did right when I got engaged that I really feel set me up to have my beautiful, perfect wedding day that I did. And of course, not everything went perfect as planned, as you will find out in some future story time videos. But these five things that I did, I feel really were the key to line me up for success, to being able to pay everything out, to be able to have everything organized. And that's really key right from the beginning so that you can have your wedding day. So let me know in the comments down below, what are some of your things you guys did right away when you got engaged? Do you have other tips for future brides? Let everything down below, because I feel like, obviously I already had my wedding, but future brides that are coming on here would probably really appreciate that. So comment down below. Go ahead and give this video a huge thumbs up if you found it helpful. Subscribe and ring that notification bell so that you know when my next Wedding Wednesday video is coming up, because the next one is going to start getting a little bit juicier. So yeah, I'll see you guys on my next one. Bye!